Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to bring greetings to our chief host, the pastor of this church, Reverend Jonathan. I'd like to greet the president of the Men's League, who is putting on this event this afternoon, and my fantastic co-speakers, Bishop, Your Highness, I greet you, and certainly Mazi, who is still sitting over here. Take a name, get nine. I'd like to say that it's a great honor and privilege to be with you this afternoon. It is a historic day in our country, June 12th, and it is important to, in fact, answer the question, what do Nigerians want? Because it looks like we want a lot of good stuff. I will certainly want the Aristotelian good life. And but how are we going to get to it when we have to slay the security monster that's trying to eat us for lunch? So that's the question I have on my plate here. What do Nigerians want? Current state of insecurity and rise of insurgency in Nigeria. The problem of insecurity in Nigeria is actually an African problem. And where we are here in West Africa, but it's really an African problem. It's something that I don't want to deal with Central or East or Southern Africa, but perhaps the Western and Northern Africa, because that's where our problems are domiciled. These are systems of security problems that kind of do an eddy current flowing around, coming into Nigeria and imperiling our lives here. For the most part, that is what we are seeing now. Now, insecurity in Nigeria has been in phases. We've had the Niger Delta phase, just residual now. But what we are facing, what you and I are facing today in Nigeria, is the problem of the West and Northern Africa security imperiling our lives in a real way, in a very dangerous way. Now, I tell you why. You see, we have the issue of jihad in the Northeast, Boko Haram, ISWAP, and I'll connect that in a second. Now go to the Northwest, you have the issue of banditry in the Northwest, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Kaduna, Niger, those states, Katsina, you have that issue. Now you come to the Middle Belt or the North Central, you have the issue of header clash, okay? That's a misnomer, but that's what you call it. And then you come to the South, where we are now, Southeast and Southwest, you have a header militia problem, which is imperiling our lives. Those are the guys who jump out of the bush, fire on your cars as you are driving up, and kidnap you and march 24 people, 30 people into the bush. Now, just yesterday here, we had this problem where in Zamfara State, 50 persons were killed. They were assaulted by 300 or so people on motorbikes, killed the ones they wanted to kill, carted off an unknown number of persons. And then a couple days before, that's on Thursday night, 11:30 p.m., just day before yesterday, we had a situation where the same actors, these same malevolent actors, the bandits, this is in Kaduna State now, these same actors went to a school in Kaduna State, Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic in Zaria, and killed a young man, a final year student, took away 8 of the students and left one in hospital. So we have a real problem in the whole of Nigeria because this is just playing itself out everywhere. Now, right now, this threat is located on highways and on farms in perhaps, let's say, more rural areas, but we see it coming closer toward town. That is why you were having those attacks at Abuja airport area in the, and then all of Abuja satellite towns are imperiled right now. Tungumaji, all of those areas near the airport, they are all imperiled. So if you maybe built a home in Abuja, you couldn't build in city center, you built in the outskirts, you are in trouble right now. I'm sorry to tell you that. Now, we are seeing this happen in many states. Of course, this problem, that's why Governor Makinde couldn't join us. His place, one of his communities was attacked. That's Igongon in the Barakwa local government, right out of Ibadan there. And a good number of people were killed. Well, they killed a few of the attackers. So that meant they were in a ready position to fight back, whatever it was, what's happening here. So what I'm saying is you have this problem, this same problem, this Northern and Western Africa problem, because it's the same attackers who have been running the trade in the whole of the Sahel, right from Mauritania all the way to Eritrea on the east coast of Africa, who are plying their trade now into Nigeria because of our porous northwest, in fact, our porous northern borders. So they have come into Nigeria. I don't know, there are all kinds of speculations, but most of them say they came with the cattle trade, transhumance movement into Nigeria. Now, and many of them have come with their weapons also into Nigeria. And well, we know that many were invited as a militia, as a punitive militia against Southerners, whoever, Benue, particularly in Benue. I think Prof spoke about Benue State, the carnage that's going on in Benue State. Daily, they kill minimum 50 persons, you know, in Benue State. Now, the problem there is the cattle need the grass and they need the farm. You know that story. So, and of course, the owners are saying, no, you can't have it. And they're like, okay, we'll teach you. So they call in a militia to come and finish that community so that they can take it over. And I think Prof also spoke about the fact that we can't have a situation where people are destroying communities, people are fleeing, and others are taking them over. It's really very unfortunate and it's unfair. And it's, I don't know, it's against the law, according to Prof. Barrister here. So what is the level of insecurity in Nigeria? It's extremely high. People don't sleep well anymore because of security challenges in Nigeria. It is extremely dangerous. Danger in my trade means something that can harm someone or destroy assets. It can harm you. You can lose your life, and we've seen that happen on a daily basis in this country. So as individuals, I want to talk to you as individuals. I think my people here have spoken in larger terms, national terms, international terms, religious terms. But I want to just talk to you as a person. How would it affect you? Because I worry about how it affects me as an individual. The nation is said to be in a death dance right now because of separatist movements and because all kinds of expulsion orders here and there. And now, this is the dangerous part. This insecurity, because it has become so widespread in the country, is now spawning insurgencies. You have non-state actors. What do I mean by that? You have non-state actors who are getting up and saying, you know what? Since the federal government or whatever state government, the national or the subnationals are not able or are not willing to protect me, we are going to band up and protect ourselves. And that is a very dangerous trend, because when people lose faith, because what is it that the state has over us? They have control of violence, coercion. And we say, yes, we give our sovereignty over to the state because they agree to protect us. So, but if according to section 14.2b, they are not able to, or they are not willing to, now I think Prof also said we should sue them. We can't sue them because 14.2b is not justiciable. That's the problem. So you see, if you get killed, you can't sue Mr. Buhari that you were killed, or your people can't, because the Constitution also has removed that. So that's part of the restructuring that's been sought right now, that should become justiciable. And if it is, then of course you can now bring that kind of action. So insecurity, pervasive insecurity as it were, is now spawning insurgencies. That is why IPOB is saying, oh yes, we are going to defend the Igbo homeland, whatever that means. And they are acting in certain ways, and it's being seized upon by other actors to amplify the problems in the Southeast. So it is a very unfortunate state that we find ourselves here. And I hope that as individuals, as Nigerians, we want security, we want a secure nation, we want life, which is the greatest human right. We want life, I don't want to be in the hospital because somebody shot my leg, you know. I want to be doing, hanging out with Onyisi here, so I want to have a good life. I don't want a life of pain and suffering. I don't need it. And besides, I can't sue anybody if I have pain and suffering. But anyway, we live in dangerous times. Terror is now a global franchise. I don't know if the guy knows I've changed the slide, but you can change it. Terror is a global franchise now. ISWAP is now in charge. Listen to the bad news, guys. And I'm surprised people are not seeing it. I don't know why I see all the bad news in this my business. Now, ISWAP is now in charge of Boko Central. Boko Central, that is the main Boko Haram, the one that was formed by Mohammed Yusuf and was inherited by Shekau, right? That is Boko Central. ISWAP grew out. There was a factionalization in 2015, and they broke off from it, as it were. Well, they really didn't break up because ISIS was bigger than Boko. And in fact, Shekau in 2015 pledged bayat, that's loyalty, to al-Baghdadi, that is the leader of ISWAP. But in 2016, Mr. Baghdadi appointed Abu Musab al-Banawi, as the head of Boko. And Mr. Shekau said, no, he won't have any of that. He will not give up his power. Well, it's been said that there's something happened on May 18th. They said ISWAP fighters surrounded Shekau and he blew himself up. Yes, it's good. I think it's good news, but I take it with a pinch of salt. Until I see forensic confirmation, I will not, because Shekau has risen from the dead so many times. So, I mean, what should make me believe that he's not going to rise again? I said, Dr. Oda, shut up. So, but anyhow, having said that, but if it is true, let's just play the what if game. If it is true that Shekau is actually dead, then we've gone into a different and more dangerous phase. It means we are now facing ISWAP, because there was a news item a couple of days later that said that ISWAP has appointed another Abu Musab al-Banawi as the head of Boko Central. So that is very dangerous, because it means we are going to see the kind of things we saw in Syria and Iraq now in Nigeria. So now we had this local, what do you call it, uneducated boys that were fighting, who were just imbued by their religious zeal, right? And I mean, Shekau didn't go to any military school or anything. He didn't have any military training. But he fought us for what, 12 years up to this point. Now you have actual terrorists, Baba terrorists, who America and France and England have not been able to subdue up to now, come and birth on Nigerian soil. That is really dangerous. I really will worry about, in fact, the whole of northern Nigeria. But let's hope also they don't come to southern Nigeria. That's another problem. But anyhow, terror is a global franchise, and that's a problem we have. We have complex asymmetric threats now facing us. Asymmetric means they throw any and everything at you they can get. They're not conventional warriors. They're not a conventional army. So they don't come arrayed trying to fight or trying to meet anything. Asymmetric means you use any and every means. If it's hot water, if you pour on people, any bestiality is allowed. That is the problem with asymmetric. And that's where we are also missing, because we are not using the mentality of the hunter, the mentality of the attacker in fighting them. We are still using conventional means, and that's why we are outclassed, as it were. Now, of course, you know of the problem of proliferation of small arms and light weapons. Bomb-making know-how has jumped out of the bottle. The bottle opened up somehow and it jumped out. and it's now there in the open. Instant communication, I think somebody talked about, Baba was talking about communication a minute ago. Instant communication is fantastic. It's good for you, but it's also good for the bad guys. That's the unfortunate news here. So what's happening? Killings, dismemberments, abductions, touching of assets, rape epidemic in this country, drug abuse, violent clashes, ritual murders, okay? So we have new battle lines, bad news. Churches, that's the first new battle line. Now, churches are adaptive organizations. When Boko started, we had a lot of attacks against churches, and churches learned. So they adapted. They started putting concrete bollards. They got security forces. They improved their security organizations, got undercarriage metal bomb detectors, got metal detectors, handheld, all kinds of stuff. Now, they showed that they could adapt, and that reduced the threat because they were actually able to fight off some bombing attacks in Kaduna. That Easter Day 2011 bomb was actually meant for that church in Kaduna, but they fought it off. And the guy ended up detonating near that Total filling station and killing all those bike riders. But schools in Kaduna, since March, we've had 3 school attacks on tertiary institutions. The Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, AFACA, the Greenfield University, and now this one of Thursday, the Nuhu Bamali College, Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic. And so we see a lot of school attacks. I'm going to show you another slide with a lot of schools there. Of course, you know, right now we have attacks where even little kids, we have kids as young as 4 or 5 are kidnapped. The one that happened in Niger State, in Rafi local government, Tagina, where they took away about 150 little kids and they have them with them. So we are living in a very dangerous situation. Well, I'm not telling you guys anything new here because we have seen a lot of, we had seen a lot of school attacks, but not mass abductions like we are seeing now here in northwest of the country. We are seeing mass abductions everywhere, south. I'm from Edo State, and they march people from that Benin Auchi Road every day into the bush. They just stop them and say, yeah, come, it's your turn to go in. Or yeah, bring money. So that's what's going on. We have attacks against hospitals. We've seen this in the north. Shopping malls, we've seen this around Abuja and all. Remote villages, that's the story of Zamfara State and all that. Highway attacks, I just mentioned that. More battle lines, waterways. If you factor in the piracy problem we have here, Nigeria is the piracy capital of the world today, I'm sorry to tell you. And we need to live down that reputation. Farms and farm settlements, railway stations, they are now, what they do in Kaduna, they wait for you to land at the railway station because you know you won't take the highway anymore. So they wait near the railway station. When you are leaving, they attack you. So they still get you anyway. So, and land transport centers. Now, I want to, even if I don't say much, let me say this one. I want to tell you how it feels to be a soft target. Oftentimes, I hear federal officers say, oh, they are attacking these places because they are soft targets. Does it make it legitimate? No, it doesn't. For your information, Baba Boko, they attack hard targets too. So forget about that. So that's just a distraction. Or perhaps I guess they are not security experts, so they don't know the difference. But let me tell you what happens with soft. First of all, you should recognize you are a soft target. And then you should harden that soft target. That's what is done everywhere in the world. You just wait for it to happen once and you wake up, you say, oh my goodness, that's a wake-up call. And you go and fix it. But in Nigeria, we say, oh, it's soft target now. What do we go do? I heard a government official yesterday saying, yes, they were trying to attack people along the Kaduna Zaria Road. But because they saw security forces, they now left and they went and attacked this school. I mean, I'm like, what is this? What are we saying? Here, you've already seen the whole play, as it were, that anywhere you have vulnerabilities, you have loopholes, you have weaknesses, they are going to exploit it and attack. So why can't we find ways to strengthen ourselves generally, so that Nigerians won't be at the receiving end of these, killers, as it were? So, but let me give you 5 feelings of soft targets. Number 1, hopelessness. And what does that mean? It means, I'm talking about the way we, Nigerians, Dr. Ona, how we feel about being soft targets. Say, well, there's not much that can be done to prevent or mitigate this threat, this attack. Infallibility. That is where we go into denial. We say, these attacks will never happen here. I tell you, my mama cooked me well for pot. Okay? Now, sorry, Pastor, I don't worry, I'll repent. Inescapability. He says, it's our destiny. It's unavoidable. No need to try. Who said you shouldn't try? It's like the thing I was hearing the man say yesterday. He was saying, oh, well, the school could not escape the attack. So it just happened. I mean, this is so, it sucks, really, to put it very mildly. Invulnerability. Now, this is where you are saying, they came in 300. I called for, well, let me not get it. They came in 300 motorbikes, and because of that, we cannot do anything. You have strengths of your own. They are invading. You are defending. It depends on your mentality. Are you ready to defend yourself? Are you ready to stand up and fight? I think Pastor has referenced that. I think it means fight in a spiritual sense, but I mean fight with kuas. That's what I'm talking about. So, so you have to be in a state of readiness. So that's the 4th one. And the last one is inevitability. This is this is the absolute cop-out of all. You say, what will be, will be. Well, God has predestined it. So I was predestined to be kidnapped and killed and whatever and butchered. I think the new one they have now on the Aba-Port Harcourt Road and maybe Aba to Onitsha axis is they kidnap people and then they chop them up for parts. If you can't pay the ransom. Well, we've seen a case in Delta State where a survivor's story where somebody was actually kidnapped and the friend, a lady, was dismembered and they cooked the meat and shared it. So that was nice. So, but anyhow, let's look at some national stats. In 2020, this is the Global Rights Nigeria Country Office. They say that we had 4,556 violent deaths. And while we had this abduction, we were just learning how to kidnap people then. We've not learned. Now we are doing much better. Okay, let's look at Kaduna. This is just first quarter of this year. Violent deaths, 323 from the bad guys. Abductions, 949 only. So let me skip all that. Okay, I've told you about Nuhu Bamali. I've told you about Tegina. Well, you are familiar with these school mass abductions. GSS Kankara, 333 boys. That was December last year. There was an Islamia school in Mahuta, Katsina, where they seized 84 kids. GSS Kagara, that's the famous Kagara one in Niger State. They seized 42 persons, 27 students, 12 teachers, and all that. So I think that, well, the header violence, I've just referred to it, the Benue problem, the whole of South, Southwest, and Southeast problem. We have a header militia violence with us. Anatomy of insurgency, I think I told you a little bit about their history. Let me move on there. Benign jihad, well, we know. Ansaru, I don't want to talk about. Okay, ISIS atrocity, I want to tell you about this. Why I think the hijacking of Boko Haram by ISIS is bad news. Now, in Syria and Iraq, ISIS killed about 1.5 million people. Now, we are crying about only 100,000 or so killed by Boko Haram in the Northeast here. and creating maybe 2.5. In some cases, they have the figure up to 4 million internally displaced persons. But in Syria and Iraq, ISIS killed only 1.5 million. Now, they did this through mass executions, beheadings, crucifixions, stoning to death, rapes, enslavement, burning. I think you remember the Jordanian pilot who was captured and burnt alive in a cage by ISIS, and razing of entire villages. Now, ISIS has also used weapons of mass destruction. They've used cluster bombs, biological weapons, and chemical weapons. So I just want you to know the kind of threat we face now, if in fact they have dethroned these guys. I don't want to talk about causal factors. I think we all know the cause of it. Impact on life, more impact. I'm not going to do that with that. Let me go to tips. Okay, first, let me start with what can you do? That's the first thing I ask here. I said, change your mindset from victim to winner. I said, prevent or mitigate. Either prevent being a victim or mitigate the effects of being a victim. That is, reduce the harmful effects of being a victim. Become aware of the threats. What are the threats? That's why I just told you a little bit about this ISIS Wahala. It's not here yet, we thank God, but it might get here. Mental preparation. Determined to engage. If you must be prepared mentally. You must, please, I'm not saying that anyone should lose sleep or not enjoy your life, but just know that there are threats out there right now that are beyond the ordinary. And you see it every day when you travel. You go from here. I went to Eleme yesterday from my hotel. And by the time I was telling some military friends of mine that, oh, I went to Eleme, they were like, how many, what do you call it, escorts did you take this? And I said, no. I said, I just went in, I went low profile. Of course, I knew the risk of going to Eleme, but I went low profile. I knew what to do also. If I went in a Jeep to Eleme, then I'd be expecting trouble. But I went in a beat-up taxi, which I knew would not break down anyway. Well, I prayed it won't break down. I didn't know. You know, so what I'm saying is you have to know what is going on. And I was ready. I wore tennis shoes, meaning I could jump out of the car and start taking action. So I was ready, but nothing happened, thank God. So I'm here. Okay, so we say you should run what-if scenarios. You know, you should play in your mind, what if this happens? What will I do? What will be your next? Okay, more of what to do. This is a little more technical. We say, apply your resources to lessen vulnerability. Resources, financial resources, whatever. Lessen your vulnerability. Use MOPO, get whatever resources. I don't want to name all of them, but please, certainly get the good one, the one that makes a loud noise and somebody falls down on the other end. Okay. Continuously assess situation-specific risks. Anywhere you are, even you are in this room right now, you say, what is the risk of someone walking in with a rifle there? Well, it is low because we have a lot of people carrying rifle in front that will engage them. So, but what about you? Have you checked where to get out from? Which is the nearest exit from this room? And how are you going to not stumble over the table in front and all that? So you have to, or even over the camera people that are standing everywhere. So you have to consider those. Design mitigation measures. You should know the risks. You should know the threats. The threats are, we call in a threat matrix, we say the actors, the acts, and the means. Actors, who are the bad guys? Kidnappers, armed robbers, headsmen, all that. Those are the actors. What are the acts, the things they do? All the violent things they do, which I already listed to you. And then the means, certainly weapon. I think their weapon of choice right now is AK-47. So we know that. Now we say design mitigation measures, implement them, and combine imagination and intuition. Please, this is important for you. We say we should combine imagination and intuition. What is imagination? Your imagination is, can you imagine what could happen? You think ahead. You create a scenario and you solve the scenario. Intuition is what my father did before. How did we used to do it? That is the old ways, intuitive thinking. Okay, so you combine both because your father's old logic and your own thinking, forward thinking in security, we call it strategic and also structured analytical thinking or critical thinking that will get you the best solution for your problem. And then, of course, the last this thing I say use critical thinking about soft targeting. So because you know you are a soft target, always apply to critical thinking. A few quick tips. We say get advice from a security consultant. Understand that security is important to you. Take action. Teach security practices to your family members, including the maid. People always teach their wives and children, they forget the maid. The maid controls the house when you are not there. Let me tell you the truth, in case you don't know. Maintain good lock hygiene. Lock hygiene means somebody leaves your service, somebody leaves your house, you change the lock. Don't manage the key. Or, okay, a key is missing. You say, okay, maybe we'll go soon see. And now, lie, somebody has kept it. And they're going to use it to break into your house or even come and attack you at night. Light up your premises. Always ensure that your premises are well lit. Have the number of your DPO on speed dial. That is your police personnel. That's still the best and only response we have. But now I understand there's a good vigilante they have around Ubima. They say the people, they even use the African traditional religion to deal with people. So that is also useful. Get their number, please. Don't forget. If you were in Lagos, we'll say get OPC number. So always ensure that you have 2 or 3 people you can go to. If you have a military chief, get his number. So if you are in distress, you can call 1 or 2, 3, but start with police and then the vigilance and all that. Just a second, sir. He says, if you close late from work, notify your spouse. Let them know you are coming late. Don't just keep quiet because they don't know when you are really not going to come back and start searching for you. Always identify the person knocking before you open the door. Keep your car, if you are in a car, keep your car doors locked. Always double check that. Install security film on large windows or even on your car windows. Close your window blinds at night. Yes, it's nice. You want people to see, but close it. Conduct family emergency drill. Always drill with your family for fire, for civil disturbance, even war. If there's a breakdown, large-scale breakdown of law and order today in Port Harcourt, what do we do? Where are the places we should move threatened populations to? Use IDS in your home. IDS is institution discernment system. Always put an alarm there. Put a noisemaker. Something goes wrong, press it. Something might happen. In fact, that might be the day God will really answer your prayer. Observe parked vehicles, observe vehicles parked near your home. They could be conducting surveillance. Get insurance cover for your risks. Life, home, owners, whatever. Avoid leaving your back door open for the maids. Teach her to be security conscious. Conduct background investigations on your domestic staff. Everybody you hire to come and work in your place, you must check them out. That's the minimum standard. Conduct DDI on business associates. DDI is due diligence investigations. Always investigate them. Ensure that they are not people who have been involved in unwholesome practices in the past. Vary your routes and time of travel to and from work. Vary your routes. Yes, I know there's a way to go, the best, shortest way to go to your workplace, but sometimes take the long way so that you don't leave signature. Because if you leave a signature, somebody will probably sign it for you. Do not leave ladders in your compound. Okay, let me leave this. We will get this in the lecture. Let me give you effective tips. Learn basic self-defense techniques. Practice positive takeoff. Positive takeoff is, I go to visit my friend, Engineer Tassi. When I don't finish the talk, we'll come outside, we'll start gisting. That is nonsense. Finish all your gist inside. Once you come out, get in the car, start and move. That's possible. Because by the time you are gisting there, an opportunistic, I think somebody said opportunistic here, an opportunistic bad guy that is just cruising around looking for this, they say, see that Miss Daniels, they will come and grab you. So we don't need that. Okay. He said, note the choke points in your usual route. Wherever route you take, note the choke points. Choke points are a place that you must slow down or stop. I took that East-West road to Eleme yesterday. There were so many choke points. It's a dangerous road. The governor should do something about it. He said, review your children's school security procedures. Go with your child someday to school and find out how do they take children and how do they release children. If it's not to your taste, please complain, shout. Let them do something about it. If not, that's where they're going to grab your child from. And you'll be looking for 5 million to pay. Now, warn children not to accept gifts from strangers. It's called stranger danger. Kids should memorize your phone number for use in an emergency. Avoid antagonizing the police. We do that all the time. You drive up to a policeman, and they say, "Can I see your vehicle?" I say, "Waiting." You know, say I don't tire. It's not good. Aggression breeds a little more aggression. So the last one before I give the man the microphone, say, avoid putting all your activities on social media. I beg. All these fine people with the Port Harcourt, make sure they put everything on social media, because the bad guys are very internet savvy. They know how to. They can track you. Even when you are in London, they know when you come back. They say, "Where the dollars will you bring?" So conduct cyber hygiene frequently. Ensure that nobody has bugged your computer, or that there's no Trojan horse or anything there. Just do that as a matter of procedure. And then certainly back up all your data quarterly. You know, if you don't. Love your neighbor as thyself. Not more than thyself, but as thyself. That means know who is your neighbor, and help your neighbor. Be nice to your neighbor, including your maid. Don't be mean to your maid, because you will drink sniper one day if you're not careful. Now, pray without ceasing. God is still in the business of doing miracles. Thank you very much.